This one? Okay, we get comfortable. So it has been a long time since I have made a video. We have made a video because I am tired and pregnant and I just haven't felt like it. But today I felt a little motivated to make this video about our trip. Was it 2 months ago?
January, yeah.
In January we went to Spokane. I made a quick video then, and I was going to make a video, and then it fell off, and I was tired, and I was pregnant, and I'm coming around to it because I wanted to talk about our experience in Spokane. First of all, Spokane is not a place I would go back to.
I mean, it's a lovely city. Everyone there was super nice and friendly to us. No one didn't make us feel welcome, but it seems like, a lot of the best things to do are like outdoors related, and we went in January when it was just freezing and snowing, so it wasn't a lot for us to do except shopping and kids museums.
I don't have any beef with Spokane itself. I just want to say that. It's just that, yeah, I don't know about vacationing in the winter time because it was a lot colder than we expected. And I don't want to be in the cold. I hate being in the cold. And then I don't want to keep a toddler in the cold. So it restricted kind of a lot of our activities. But I wanted to speak about how that vacation went and how travel looks like for our family. So we have a fairly energetic child.
Very high energy.
She's very high energy. And that can present some challenges with traveling. First and foremost, we chose Spokane, one, because we've never been there. Two, it was an hour flight from Seattle, and I think that's like the most that our daughter can handle right now. Like, I just don't feel like she cannot sit for more than 10 seconds. Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm not like exaggerating. She just cannot. She's just so all over the place all the time. So I felt like that was an hour flight is the most she could handle. So that was that. And then we wanted to see what travel looked like with like being in a hotel room. So we had we had several challenges. So getting her on the flight, which she did fine both ways, but towards the end of the flight, especially when the plane was descending, she kind of got mad. One, because she doesn't like being restrained, and two, the pressure change kind of hurt her ears. But otherwise that was fine. I think the biggest challenges for us were, and I'd love to hear from like other parents how they do this, but the challenge of getting her down for her nap and her bedtime. So it's easier when she's here in her home because her father and we can put her in her own room, and she has her own crib, and those two things create not only like a physical barrier, but I think like a psychological barrier for her to, what's the word I'm looking for? To like, it's like a
signal to her that she needs to go.
Yeah. So she can't really crawl out and continue activity. Like, those are actual like reminders of her, like, oh, okay, this is nap time. So when we're in a hotel room, you remove both of those things because it's one room, and then there's one bed between three people. So the challenge with her was that when it was nap time, because she didn't have a physical barrier, and this was a new area to her, right? And then she still sees her mom and her dad. So she's like, oh, all of those things means it's time for me to play and to move. So her father and I had a very difficult time getting her to sleep, because she's not a child that would just fall asleep. Some kids will do that. They'll fall asleep anywhere. She is not. So we actually had to at one point like physically restrain her in order for her to get her to sleep. Like, we would bear hug her, and she would fight us the whole time. So it took an hour, sometimes 2 hours to get her to sleep. I think it was easier.
It was easier for the naps.
It was easier for the naps. And then at nighttime, it was just real struggle.
Yeah, the nighttime is when we had to fight with her. The naps, actually, she would collapse pretty easily.
Yes.
But at night, it could take between 1 and 2 hours to get her to go to sleep.
And that's exhausting. Like, it's one thing where, like, when we're home, she can do whatever she wants in her crib for for 1 to 2 hours. She's still up, but her father and I can move around the house. We can continue to do what we do. But when it was nap time, we had to, like, because she cannot shut down herself by herself, we had to shut down too. So no TV,
No computers,
no computer,
no phones.
yeah. So even though
lights off.
yeah, and he's not like, Brian's not like a napper like I am. Like he'll sleep for maybe an hour and then he's up. So I know that was rough for him. But it's just rough with 3 people trying to sleep in the same in the bed. And yeah, you just get tired of fighting your kid for like an hour and a half. So I think that's that's a challenge. I don't know how parents handle that when they're traveling. Like maybe it's easier, maybe your kids collapse, but ours didn't. So dealing with that for like 4 days, it kind of.
She never has. Like she's never been the type that when she gets tired that she will
Yeah.
slow down and then just pass out. No, whenever she gets tired, she actually her energy level ramps up and she becomes more active and crazy.
Yeah. So we have to fight with her in order to get her to sleep. So 4 days of that, it's kind of like I'm ready to go home. Like it was one of those vacations. It was like he calls it a test run, and I agree, because we want to see how she is. If we I don't foresee us traveling anytime soon, but if we need to go somewhere, what we need to do to help her go to sleep. We didn't bring a pack and play, but honestly, like everyone's like, you should bring a pack and play. 1, that's a pain in the ass to bring that on a plane. 2, she's still going to be able to see us in the room, right? Because we're all sharing the same room. So even though she'll physically have her own like little area to sleep, she's still going to see. I don't feel like for her it's going to work the same way, because she is going to still be able to see us. And if we have the TV on, like it's just not going to work. Like I just feel like she's still going to try to be moving up and about. So I always see these stories. Like Instagram is probably the last place I should ever be looking. But I always see, like, I think one night on this trip I typed in like parents who travel with their kids, and of course there are always like these overly glamorized photos of like their kids in these amazing destinations, and I'm kind of like thinking the whole time, like those are questions that I have. 1, how do you get your kids on, like how do your children behave on these, like, because we only went to Spokane, so I can't imagine if you're actually going out of the country. Like how do your kids act when they're removed from their normal ritual? How do they sleep? Like how do they behave? Because I feel like all 3 of those things can kind of like turn me off to like a vacation. Like if you take your kid out of the country and you're gone for like a week, like how do you deal? Like again, I think our kid is just a little more challenging because she's so high energy and she doesn't collapse like normal kids. Maybe other kids they get used to it, but like I think just even as an adult, I feel like air travel can be stressful. So I don't necessarily feel like I want to introduce that to a small baby. I know people do it all the time, but I just feel like kind of a way about it. So that was our experience. I mean, I'm glad that it lasted only like 4 days. I think it only takes so much. It wasn't a bad vacation. It was just more like I'm just ready to go home. And so, Brian and I were talking about this, and he's like, I think we were initially talking about going to Arizona. And he's like, I think you would have been pissed because so much of our time would have been limited to either a nap time. Because again, it'd be different. We could probably travel more if our child just collapsed and fell asleep wherever she was at, and we could just go and do whatever we wanted to. But she's not like that. So a lot of our time was limited by her nap time. And what else did you say? I think that was like a big.
I mean, yeah, it's probably
we just would have missed out on a lot.
It's limited to her meal time and her nap and bedtime.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So she's not at the stage, and I don't want her to be right now where she can go without a nap. Like she absolutely needs a nap. So yeah, that was I'd be interested to hear about how other people handle with little kids, how they handle air travel, sleeping arrangements. I think that was the biggest challenge. Like the airplane ride wasn't that bad. But yeah, getting her to go to sleep every night was kind of a beast. So that's the video I meant to make like 3 months ago, but I'm just now getting up the energy. I was a little tired. Is there anything that you would like to add?
I mean, I think the primary thing is this, trying to plan around like a vacation schedule around your kids, like eating and nap time, because I feel like that doesn't leave you like a lot of windows of time to go out and do things.
That's why it's kind of like, it's funny. Like I feel like we couldn't do international travel right now because if there's all these cool things and places you want to go to, and then you have to like go back because of nap time. I mean, I feel like you can eat on the go. Eating might not be such a problem because you always pack snacks, but like children need sleep. And I'm not the type of parent who's like, I'm just going to do me and worry about them later. Like, I just feel very strongly that kids need to have regimen regarding sleep and eating and just things of daily life. And that's completely thrown off when you throw them on vacation and take them to like, 6 different time zones. So that's it. That's the story that I wanted to tell. I think if we're going to go anywhere, the only places we will be going to are Texas and Ohio. And even then, I think that's going to be a while. That's it. That's all I have to say. Okay, we're ending this. Goodbye.